What's good, YouTube? You're back on S Motorsports, and today I got a good one for you. We're gonna be installing Flex Fuel on the Camaro. Alright guys, so like I said, we're going to be installing Flex Fuel on the Camaro, and I got to maybe give a little background on it because why haven't I done it yet? So I finally convinced myself to convert the Camaro to run E85 or Flex Fuel or anything in between, and it took a while because E85 is pretty corrosive, and the way I use this car is it sits, because it's not my daily driver, I only drive it on the weekends and stuff, or when it's nice out. So I didn't want to necessarily run E85 all the time. So I kind of just convinced myself, hey, I should try it. It's easy enough for me to flash the tune. I can put that into my tuning, no issue, and see the power gains to be had. Run it on the weekends, and then basically pickle the tank, flush it out, and just let it have 93 in or 91 most of the time, just for the fact of you don't really want E85 sitting in your tank as it is corrosive, but I did get the correct parts, so I shouldn't have any issues with it. But with that said, let me show you what I picked up. And I got a whole slew of parts, so I basically am making a custom E85 kit because I don't know, I just wanted to do my own thing and wanted it exactly how I wanted it. So what I got was I ended up picking the Gen 5 DIY Flex Fuel harness because I really like this harness, how it tied into the evap coil. I picked up a genuine GM Flex Fuel sensor. I picked up this Racetronix basically coupler to connect to the factory fuel line and the sensor. Picked up some Summit Racing PTFE Hose End in -8 hose. Same with connectors to go from the Hardline of the sensor and the car to an AN fitting. And then I picked up some Vibrant PTFE hose, which is E85 compatible. So that was the main reason I wanted to get the PTF hose, as making sure that I wouldn't have any issues with the E85, hurting the rubber line. Also, I picked up this VP M2 I found. Basically what it is so the alcohol, it burns really dry. Alcohol is not a very good lubricant, where gasoline has a little lubricity, more lubricity to it. So I picked up this VP M2, which is kind of supposed to help out with that, kind of help with the fuel water separation in the E85 when I do run it. And basically I shot VP's contact support with the question too, because I saw on Summit's website then after I ordered it that this was not safe for oxygen sensors, which had me wondering if I would be able to use it. But I did shoot a message, and they basically did get back to me and said, yeah, it's okay to run with wideband and narrowband oxygen sensors as long as it's mixed in the proper ratio. So basically it's like 2 ounces per 1 ounce per 5 gallons. So if I only put like 10 gallons in, I only need to put in 2 ounces. So this stuff will last for quite a while, especially since I'm not going to be running E85 all the time. So basically, if we take a closer look at the fittings, these are the PTFE fittings for the hose ends that'll connect up to the AN, and then this is for the hose end. And inside of here, there is a ferrule, and I'll show that assembly process. And then for these Russell connectors, I went with 8 AN as well for the hose, just to maximize the size. So basically with this Russell fitting, you screw this off, and then this is gonna go over the line. This slips on, and then you thread it in. And I'll show you that when we install it. And we'll pre-assemble as much as we can basically on the bench with this fitting. With the sensor, I should say. And then this Racetronix, this is really slick. This was relatively cheap for what it is, but basically it's the same thing. It's this slips over one side of your hard line, and then it fits in that groove, the little notch on the line, and then this threads on. So you can basically connect a hard line to a hard line. So this is gonna go here to your factory, one side to your sensor, one side to your factory fuel line. So the first step is basically to disconnect the factory fuel line. I actually already got that disconnected, and I'll cut to the clip. I did that the other day and got the fuel drained out of the car, so there's not much left in it, and I'll cut to that clip now and show you how I did it. Okay, so the first step is to disconnect your fuel lines, because I'm going to drain the fuel and get ready for the E85, putting the sensor here, and I got a bunch of fuel in the tank and I want to get it drained. So what I'm going to do is disconnect it here and here to remove this fuel line, and then I have a pressure tap which I can hopefully splice in here and get it to drain. So I'm going to be using this fuel disconnect tool, and so let's get it open and get those lines removed. Alright guys, so we got the fuel draining. Kind of a wonky setup, but I just got my fuel pressure tester, got it hooked up, and then it has like this test line. So I got that ran over to my fuel tank. As you can see, she's coming out pretty good. So that shouldn't take too long to get a couple gallons out, see where the tank's at. And we'll get her down to where it basically shows E, and then we can swap everything over so we don't have to drive around a bunch. All right, so now that you know how to remove the factory fuel line, let's get to assembling as many parts as we can on the bench, and I'll show you that, and then we'll end up kind of measuring the exact length line that we need on the car, cut it to length, and get that everything installed. And then we'll get to pinning out the ECU with the harness, which is probably gonna be the hardest part. That's really the most thing I'm nervous about, but even that, it really shouldn't be that bad. So I'll show you that as well. So let's get to it. Montage mode. Alright, so the next step is I'm going to assemble one hose end onto the hose so I can get an accurate length so we know where to cut it for to get the length perfect. So with the PTFE hose, it's a little different than the regular AN hoses, as it's got this ferrule in here as well, which gets shoved in between the braiding and the actual PTF line that's in there. It's kind of like a water hose in the sense that it has a ferrule. This slides in, and then this ferrule, as you tighten it up, pinches to that PTFE line and creates the seal when you put the nut on. So let's get this assembled now and see how it goes. right guys, so I got the hose mocked in here. It's gonna run in the same spot. You can see there's quite a bit of play there, so I'm just trying to get it pretty neutral so I can mark my line. And I'm gonna mark it right where basically the fitting starts, so it'd be right about here. All right guys, so we made the cut. It ended up being pretty clean. I'm happy with it. I decided to go with the chop saw so I didn't pinch and hurt the hose on the inside. I definitely cleaned it. I sprayed it out with some throttle body cleaner afterwards, all in there, tried to get it flushed out, and then sprayed it out with air, and then cleaned up any little frays, tried to as much as I could. So the first thing you want to do before you take this tape off, because I did tape it before I cut it, you want to get the nut on before take the tape off. So we're gonna just lube this nut a little bit to make sure it goes on easy. Now let's see if it'll go on. All right, again, we want to put the ferrule on. Since the nut kind of went on there a little bit hard, so it kind of frayed it already for me. So I'm gonna be able to slip this on relatively easy. Should be able to slide this guy in. Yeah, and that went together really nice. We're gonna push this together, get it started. Let's move over to the bench. All right guys, so here is our assembled line, and I mean, this turned out awesome. This is exactly how I was hoping it would turn out. And so I got an E85 compatible PTFE line, which won't degrade. Like I said, E85 compatible, so it makes it safer to run this. And I didn't necessarily say before why I was doing this, making my own, is because I bought all these individual parts, the Summit hose ends, the hose. I have some extra hose left over, and I still got it for cheaper than other comparable kits that have the PTF line. So that's why I ended up making my own. So let's get this on the car. All right guys, so update here, we got all the lines tightened. I kind of tidied things up, zip tied it back to where I had it. This is looking pretty good. Got the connector going to the evap that ties in the sensor. Got that tidied up along the rail here. And now I am running this wire, and I had the wire running for my wideband sensor kind of back here, and then it dives under. I'm running this with the exact same route, so it kind of hides both. So now I got to take off these 4 nuts here. There's one down here, and there's one over here to get this box kind of out of the way to get at that bottom connector right there is the one we need to go to. All right guys, so now that we got the connector unplugged here, we have access to it. We gotta pop this back cover off, which is 2 little tabs. All right, looking at the connector, if we can see that right here in this corner is in this upper corner right here is 53. So 38 would be the next row down and 6 over. So if we move the wires, you can I don't know if you can see, but there is a plug right there in 38. So that's the one we need to remove. So kind of push the wires out of the way. There we go, pop right out. Okay, so I got the single wire that needs to get plugged into pin 38 ran. I got it routed down here, and then I'll zip tie it up to this cord. Try and move those out of the way. Heard it click in. Now we can start assembling. All right, guys, got everything buttoned back up. I got the fuse block tightened back down. The connector is in down there. It went in just fine, just like reverse. I got everything tied up. I think I need to put a few more zip ties there yet, but I'll do that at a later date. But yeah, I mean, I zip tied it up here as well, just to kind of keep it from maybe bouncing as much. So let's get the battery basically hooked back up. We'll check it for leaks, and let's flash the E85 tune. All right, guys, so we're gonna just put it in accessory mode here. It'll prime the fuel pump, and then we can check for leaks. Now we gotta check for leaks here. Hopefully we got none. Oh, we got one. All right, guys, so I tightened up one fitting. It looks like it was just one fitting that had a little leak. All the rest look good. So let's flash the tune, and then we can try starting it up. All right, we are flashing E85. All right, guys, tune is flashed. We're gonna just send it. Give her a start. Start scanning and see if we get some alcohol content showing up. Alcohol percent. Let's see. Saying 9%. So I think it's reading. All right, let's get out and check for leaks. All right, guys, so I started it up, got no check engine lights. I think we're good to go. I got that fuel leak taken care of. So got everything installed. Everything's all buttoned up. It's looking, I mean, it looks pretty good. I'm happy with it. Again, like I said, the reason I kind of made my own kit is just because I did a little cheaper. So links will be in the description as always. Make sure to stay tuned as it's getting late, but tomorrow morning I'm gonna go put some E in this thing, and stay tuned for my reaction to see what it feels like, see how much power, see if I can tell on the seat of my pants. So I'm pretty excited about that, to see what it does. So stay tuned. All right, guys, till next time. Thanks for joining in. Peace.